Hello there, welcome to video number 7 of my Guitar 101 video series. I can't believe I've already made 7 of these. Anyway, this video is actually a two-parter. This is a video about being able to navigate the fretboard, being able to know where you are, like instead of just saying, oh, this is the 10th fret, no, that's a D, okay? Knowing the names and notes on the neck. So let's get to it. So the first thing you need to understand is the difference between a half step and a whole step. A half step is where you move by one fret. If I'm going this way, I'm going higher. If I'm going this way, I'm going lower. So if I pick out a fret on the neck, I'll say the 5th fret on the 1st string, whatever. If I go up one fret right here, I moved a half step up. Okay, if I go from that same fret, 5th fret, and I go this way, I go to here, that's a half step down. Okay, now if I move in a whole step, it's the exact same concept, but I skip a fret. So I'll take that same fret, but I'm going to move a whole step now, so I skip a fret to the 7th fret here, and that's a whole step. Okay, now if I go back here, and I go this way and skip a fret, that's a whole step down. Alright, so half step, whole step. You need to remember, and this is huge, so many people forget this, but B to C and E to F, when you do that movement, when you're on a B note and you move to a C note, you only move a half step. And same with when you're on an E and you move to F. Every other movement has a whole step between them. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to figure out the notes on the two lowest strings of the guitar all the way up to the 12th fret. Alright, it's a really good place to start because a lot of chords are rooted there, and a lot of times that's where you begin scale patterns and whatnot. So if you can get a good grasp on these two lower strings, alright, there's also a lot of other tips to help us figure out the other 4 strings if we can get the hang of these two lower ones. So what you do, alright, we're going to find all the natural notes. So no sharps or flats, just natural notes. And remember, B to C and E to F, those are half steps. So if I play the 6th string open, it's an E, right? Now, a great way to visualize that is if you go before the nut right here, pretend you're on a fret. Okay, so I'm on like an E note right here. So to, like I said, to get to F, E to F, it's a half step right. So what that means is that this 1st fret right here is an F note. Okay, so now I need to go from F to G, and like I said, everybody else is a whole step, so F to G is a whole step. So that means this 3rd fret here is a G. Now, if I go to A, because in music we only go to G, right? After G comes A. So G to A is another whole step. So that means the 5th fret here is an A. Now if I go another whole step to B, that's going to be right here on the 7th fret. So that's a B. Okay. Now, what did I say? B to C is a half, right? So that means C is the 8th fret right here. Okay. Now I need to get to D, C to D. That's another whole, so that's this 10th fret right here. And then finally, we're going to go D to E, and that's going to lead us to our 12th fret right here. And that's where we're going to stop. Okay, we began with E and we ended with E. You can of course keep going and it follows that same pattern. But for right now, especially since some of you might be playing acoustic guitar and can't play up there, let's just stop at that 12th fret. Cool. So that's how notes work on the guitar neck. But that's not the whole story because we have the sharp and flat notes. So all of those whole steps have a sharp and flat note between them. Alright, so I established this was F and this was G. So we're going to figure out this note that's in between F and G. Okay, so here's F. When I go this way, this is going sharp. Sharp is going higher in music. So that means this note right here, that's an F sharp. Now, it has another name because it has its flat name. So here's a G, and when I go this way on the guitar neck, that's going lower. When you go lower in music, that's flat. So that means that this is a G flat. So this note has two names. We got F sharp or G flat. And that's what happens between all the whole steps that we skipped going up to the 12th fret. Okay? So I established this was G and this is A. So this note in between them is going to be G sharp or A flat. All right. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go from the open string to the 12th fret again on that 6th string, but I'm going to not skip any frets or anything. I'm going to do every single note up to that 12th fret. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So I established open E on an E. E to F is a half step, so first fret is F. And then we got this note right here in between F and G, so that's F sharp, G flat. Then we got G. Then we got between G and A, G sharp and A flat. Then we got A. Then we got between A and B, A sharp and B flat. Then we got B. Then B to C is a half, right? So then we got C. We got C sharp and D flat in between C and D. And then we got D. And then we got D sharp and E flat. And then we got E again. All right. So those are all the notes on the low 6th string. Okay? Almost. If you go past the 12th fret, it's just starting over. Okay? Why that happens, so there's 12 notes in music. So when you get to the 12th fret on a guitar, the neck is essentially starting over. When you're on an open string, the 12th fret is going to be the same note. So the first fret is going to be the same as the 13th fret. Those are both Fs right there. And so on and so on. The 2nd fret is going to be the same as the 14th fret. So that's why it's kind of a little somewhat unnecessary to go past the 12th fret. I mean, I wouldn't say it's unnecessary, but you're basically just starting over when you get there. So don't get me wrong, go past the 12th fret, you should learn those notes, but you should get thinking like that. The neck is just starting over right there. It's a huge thing with playing guitar. All right, so I also mentioned we want to figure out the 5th string. So why don't we take a sec and figure out those notes as well too. So when we get the 5th string open, it's an A, right? So here's my A, I'm before the nut. Okay, that's how you think about open strings. It's like there's a fret before the nut there. Now A to B is a whole step, right? So that means B is on the 2nd fret. So this first fret on the A string is A sharp, B flat. That really messes people up. I don't know what it is. They think that the first fret's going to be a nice little natural note. No, 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 no. It's A sharp, B flat. 2nd fret is B. Now, like I said, B to C is half, right? So that means 3rd fret here is C. Okay? And then we got the 4th fret in between C and D. So that's C sharp, D flat. Right? Then we got D. Then we got in between D and E, D sharp, E flat. Then we got E. And then we got F, because E to F is the other half step, right? And then between F and G, we got F sharp, G flat. Then we get G. Then we get G sharp, A flat. And then check this out. I'm on the 12th fret. We're back at A. Cool. So take a second before you watch part 2 of this to get a good handle on those 2 lower strings. A really cool thing you can do is give yourself a good reference point. The 5th fret on both of those strings. So the 5th fret on the 6th string is an A. Just memorize that. And the 5th fret on the 5th string is a D. Just memorize that. And that gives you a nice, really good reference point instead of always starting on the 6th and 5th string. So like let's say you call out a random note. I'm going to find F on the 5th string. Instead of going like this, A, B, C, D, E, F. Well, if you have the D on the 5th fret memorized, you can just go E, F. You know, see, you didn't have to go as far. And use the 12th fret as a good reference point too. And practice going backwards too. That's a huge thing. Music doesn't just keep climbing. You need to be able to think about notes going backwards as well. All right, a lot of people struggle with that. Keep saying the musical alphabet backwards. G, F, E, D, C, B, A. G, F, E, D, C, B, A. It'll help you a lot. So I'm going to end this video. I got all of the natural notes on the 2 lower strings. I don't have the sharps and flats, but I think you can figure those out on my little whiteboard here. So I'll give that to you so you can kind of check that out. You know, if you want to pause the video here at any time to make sure you're doing okay on this, this is a great time to do that. So I'll leave it here for a sec longer. Alright, and that concludes guitar video 7 of my Guitar 101 series. Come back for video 8. It's a continuation of this. So anyway, see you later.